What's up, flappers? Welcome to another video, and let me preface by saying this: don't let this video influence whether you want or don't want Shenhe. It's only supposed to be my personal opinion, analyzing this character, playing with her now for like a week, right, or something like that, and kind of getting a better understanding of what her role in the game is. And I just want to share that opinion with you guys, and would love to hear what you guys have to say about this character as well. And right from the get-go, I think we need to stop thinking of Shenhe as our traditional support, because I don't think she really functions much like a support now that I look at it. While she does have many things about her kit that facilitates our team as a support unit, she does more than that. And let me tell you something, this might be the start of a new type of support DPS actually. So without further ado, like, subscribe if you like Genshin discussion content, because I make them all the time, and I live stream here on YouTube Wednesday, Saturday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Would love to have you guys stop by and maybe win a couple of 5 stars that I'm currently giving away. All right, now when you think about Shenhe, do you think of a character that stays in the back line or kind of stays off field and just provides support, or do you think of a character who applies aura resistance, shred, and elemental buffing through abilities? Well, if you said any of those, you would be correct. She actually functions as both at the same time. And a good character that I want you guys to compare her with is someone like Kazuha, right? Kazuha, with the help of Viridescence, is able to provide similar buffing to what Shenhe is able to do for Cryo, although Kazuha is better in this case because Kazuha with Viridescence can do it for all elemental types. But the cool thing about Shenhe is that not only does she function like Kazuha with Viridescent for Cryo, she also has a mechanic built into her kit, which is new, right? Only her and Yunjin have this mechanic, and that is the one where they allow their teammates to use up a certain amount of fixed stacks when applying certain type of damage, right? For Shenhe, it's cryo damage. For Yunjin, it's normal attack damage. Now, we're going to leave Yunjin off to the side here a little bit, but trust me, this video is going to be worth your time, at least in my opinion. All right, so let's take a look at Shenhe not as a support, but more of a support DPS. Now, if you think about support DPS, who comes to your mind, right? Albedo, Xingqiu, maybe Fischl for some people as well. Beidou, some people use her as support DPS as well. Now, the thing about Shenhe is, for her as a support DPS, her strength lies in the fact that she's able to simultaneously deal damage with the on-field character. Granted, your on-field character is able to take advantage of your elemental skill, right? So then does this make Shenhe kind of like Cryo Xingqiu? That's the question, right? I've gotten people in my DMs be like, hey Walrus, what do you think of Shenhe? Do you think she's better as a support? Do you think she's better as a support DPS? Or do you think she even has a role as the main DPS? Let me get this out of the way for you guys right now. Don't play Shenhe as the main DPS. All right, while she is built with a lot of DPS in her, a vast majority of her kit is dealing with cryo attack buffing and cryo resistance shredding. While she is able to take advantage of all this stuff herself, her scaling just isn't up there when it comes to her role as a main DPS, and there's a reason why they cannot overtune the scaling of Shenhe. I'm going to get to that a little bit later in the video, and let me tell you why her scaling has to be exactly as the way it currently is. All right, back to her role. I do think it's difficult to pin Shenhe into like a designated role, saying like, oh, she's a support or she's a support DPS. She kind of does both at the same time. miHoYo has essentially with Shenhe condensed the role of a support and support DPS, and I think going forward, this is such an important step for us to be taking, because it's so difficult to pair units nowadays with the amount of characters that are coming out, both 4 stars and 5 stars. We just don't have enough slots to try out all types of synergies. So eventually, miHoYo is going to have to find ways to condense characters. Now, look at the most valuable characters we currently have in Genshin Impact: Bennett, Kazuha, Zhongli, Raiden Shogun, Xingqiu, right? All these characters can fulfill more more than one position when they're placed into a team. They do more than just one singular thing, and that is so important. Shenhe right now doesn't feel like it now, does she? But that is because this is the start of a new archetype of units that miHoYo is starting to develop. Look at what Shenhe has in her kit, right? Like I said, cryo buffing, cryo resistance, shredding. These are all stackable stats. Right now, if you have Ganyu maybe at C4, Shenhe at C1 or C2, you're able to already see the power of their resistance shred as well as cryo buffing stacking on top of each other. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think this is going to be the end all be all for all cryo buffing characters? Do you think miHoYo will never ever release another character that either shreds cryo resist or buff cryo damage? Of course not, right? This is only the beginning. Now, this is getting back to my point when I said why miHoYo could not overtune Shenhe's numbers. If miHoYo tune up Shenhe's numbers, what is going to happen when future cryo buffers are released? Remember, people, Electro has their dedicated damage buffer in Sarah. Geo already has Goro. Pyro has Bennett. Hydro currently has no one. And Anemo currently has no one along with Cryo. Now, Cryo, we now have Shenhe, but with the way miHoYo is currently pushing mono elemental teams, I don't think it's any stretch of one's imagination to say that future more dedicated units for each element are going to increase, and likely at an alarming rate. I'd be pressed to see miHoYo release a single character that doesn't lean into mono team comp advantages. They are now really taking the time to flesh out all of these different playstyles and team synergies, especially because the arrival of Dendro means that there's gonna be a whole slew of synergistic reactions being thrown into the blender here, and miHoYo doesn't want to introduce any more reactional based team comps until they've got Dendro all figured out. So for the foreseeable future, mark my words, at least until Dendro comes out, miHoYo is going to continue incentivizing more mono teams because that's the easiest way for them to also balance the game state. But once Dendro comes out, more synergistic teams likely will surface, especially Dendro mixed with Pyro, Cryo, Hydro, Anemo, Geo, and Electro, of course, right? They're gonna try to incentivize those pairings, and it's gonna be a little while before we see our traditional melt, vape, electro charge, whatever comms start to resurface. Now, of course, people will always try to come up with new methods to play with these characters, but looking at Shenhe, looking at Yunjin, you really can start feeling that miHoYo's taking this in a different direction. And with future cryo characters, if they ever do come out again that provides more buffing and more res shred, then pairing them with Shenhe is going to be an immaculate experience. Let me tell you guys, I'm already watering and frothing at the mouth just thinking of the raw damage capability through Shenhe and X character in the future, where they're gonna buff up so much to the point where your characters are gonna be reaching completely new ceilings. And looking at how miHoYo continues to increase the HP pool of mobs in the Abyss as well as bosses, people, it's no surprise that in the future this type of buffing and shredding is going to be almost necessary to challenge some of the more recent content difficulties. All right, like I said in the very beginning of the video, this is not a video to get you to pull Shenhe. She's still very average currently. If you pair her with C0 Ganyu, C0 Shenhe, very average character. So it's definitely not made for free-to-plays, and this is for whales, for giga whales to future-proof their accounts, pulling Shenhe maybe C4, C6 even nowadays as to waiting for her rerun, right? People, for us normal players, let's just continue playing this game. I'm just giving you guys some food for thought, and hopefully you guys have picked up on this as well, and I'm looking forward to reading your comments. What do you guys think about Shenhe after playing with her for some time now? Do you think she has the potential to pave the way for future metas, or do you think she's just a one and done thing with miHoYo? Alright, the keyword for today is going to be keychain. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Until next time, urge you all to stay safe and peace.